Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is David Murphy. I publish this newspaper, the National Black Unity News. I also am a member of a group called Black Men Unifying Black Men. I'm also on the board of Maryland Council of Elders. And first, before I get into what I have to say, I want to thank Brother Dennis Winkler and Brother Sankofa for the wonderful works that they've done. You know, I watched these brothers way back in the day, even though they're young men. I've seen the growth that you brothers taken, and I appreciate you. Keep up the good work, sir. But I want to take you on a journey, on my journey. That's why I'm an expert in David Murphy. Now, you know, I was taught about a lot of things. You know, I've been to school for this, I've been there, and I've done that. But one thing, you know, I think that we all need to start looking at, and I heard it mentioned here several times already, we need to look within. You know, I published this publication. I'm going to take, as I said before, I'm going to take you on a journey. I asked myself, I want you to start asking yourself some questions. I asked myself one day, because I'm very inquisitive, I say, why do I do this? What is the purposes? And I come up with the basic information. Well, I want to help people, I want to help my people, the normal stuff we normally say. But then I asked myself again, why do I want to help people? Then I went on this thing, it's a survey, I want you all to take heed to this, I want you all to try this. It's going to take you on a psychological journey. And it's called the 7 levels of why. Yep. Ask yourself why you do this and why you do that, and then you keep going down to 7 different levels. You know, when I went on this journey, it took me to such an emotional roller coaster. I'm a strong black man, but it had me broke down. I cried like a little baby because I discovered a lot of things about David Murphy that I kind of hidden in my subconscious mind somewhere. And when I started asking myself why from the newspaper, by the time I got to the 4th level, 5th level, I was at that time on my 4th level, almost became a mass murderer. I was going to kill a whole group of people. I was angry, extremely angry, for what they'd done to me, my people. And I was acting out the only way I knew how to act at that particular time. But then when I got to my 5th and 6th level, it took me on a shocking journey. You see, I published a newspaper, but do you know I have a 7th grade education? I dropped out in the 7th grade. And you know why? Because on my 5th and 6th level, I discovered why. You see, when I was 4 or 5 years old, my mother took me to school. First day. There's a school used to be up on North Avenue where Coppin sits at. And it only had a kindergarten and the 1st grade there. And my mother took me there to this strange place. That's the first time I've ever been away from home by myself. I had 7 or 8 brothers, siblings. So I always had somebody with me. So she left me in this strange place with these strange children. And she went back across North Avenue and went home. 10 minutes later, I was knocking at the door. I got up and left, put my life in danger, went across North Avenue. And my mother approached me, said, "What you doing here?" And she said she's going to take me back to school. That's the first time I ever defied my mother. And of course, back in them days, when you defied your parents, you got it. That's the first time I recall her whipping me. You know, you actually get spanked on the hands and all that for little naughty things, but this is the first time she whipped me. And she took me back to that place. I stood there. And then 3 months later, see, back in my day, most of those who are older may remember this. I'm 67. So I'm talking about back in 1956, 57. And see, in media, keep in mind I'm in media. Back in those days, we didn't have black radio stations. We didn't have, matter of fact, the only music that we heard was predominantly Caucasian music. The Pat Boones and Elvis Presleys. Every once in a while, you might hear a Nat King Cole, somebody like that. But as a child, I used to listen to the radio, and I loved music, loved it. And I used to always think of myself, I'm going to be the greatest singer in the world. So back in this school again, I'm taking you back to the school again. Here where I'm in the kindergarten, and they used to have this thing called nap times. You used to lay your head down on the desk. And all of a sudden, for some reason, I don't know why, I broke out in a song, singing Elvis Presley, "Don't Be Cruel." That particular song has significance to it. But the teacher told me to shut up. and the children start laughing at me. Guess what? And from that day forward, I became an introvert. You talking about psychological damage. And because those children laughed at me, this lasted all the way up to adulthood. And this is another reason why I do this paper, because this is another way for me to express myself outwardly. But even further than that, when I got to my 6th level, I used to have a childhood hero. Back in the day, children used to watch cartoons a lot. And they had this character named Mighty Mouse. And Mighty Mouse was a bad little mouse. He was strong, he could fly, he had a cape. And he used to beat up cats all the time. You know, just whip them. And at the end of the show, you know, he'd always get the woman, the girls. He would pick them up and fly off in the, in the sunset. And that was my favorite character. I wanted to be Mighty Mouse. And then I asked myself on my 7th level, why in the world would I want to be a mouse? You know, seriously. I thought like a child. But but see, back in them days, I know y'all heard what they call that stuff, that big bird on it and all that. A lot of children watch that show. Come on. Sesame Street. Yeah. But back in our day, we had a thing called, what they call that, the Musketeers, whatever they call it. Not three. The Mickey Mouse Club, yeah. Right. And they had these little children on it. They're from age 4 to 5 all the way up to 16, I believe. And I had a brother younger than me, he's 4 and I'm 5. And we used to fight. This is on my 7th level. And they had a little boy our age on there. He was a little white boy named Cubby. And we used to fight, I'm Cubby, no, I'm Cubby. We fight over that. And then I asked myself on my last level, why in the world would I want to be a little white boy? Then it finally dawned on me. And it hits me like I get emotional about this. You know why? Because I didn't see people like myself in media. Of course. The only 2 people I ever saw on television was Stephen Fletcher and Kingfish in this. And they weren't too many people you want to idolize, you know. But when I went on that journey, you talking about what this subject matter is, all of them things added up to what I do today. And see, ladies and gentlemen, when I found out the truth of why I do the things that I do, then I broke free from a lot of things. See, now I'm able to move on. I know why I'm fighting this battle. I know why it's almost like predestination, why I do the things that I do today. Because I had to go through it, and I've been through it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you this, especially to you young folks. It's good to look out. It's good to get all the education you can. But the battle, true battle, lies within. Because when you make up your mind within yourself, you can be anything you want to be. When I was talking about singing, I can sing today. It took 50, 60 years for me to start singing again. What kind of all them years of loss? I could have been the greatest singer in the world. I could have been a lot. Why did I choose print media? I could have spoken on television. I could have spoken other media forms. Because those psychological damages, because what somebody said and how I perceived it. That's why it's so important to have schools. That's why it's so important to have media. Because we own less than 1% of the media. So 99% of the information that you get in today, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from outside resources. Psychologically, they tell you, they use propaganda on you every day. Every day. And if we don't support our media, you're going to keep on getting what you're getting, and we're going to stay in the same situation. Thank you.